I will gladly claim that.
This is my mentor here. How are you? We're from New Orleans. I'm part of a writing group. I think that you were in at one time. That's right. I'm in there. Yeah.
Oh, can't fucking wait.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah. No, there's just like, you'll be on Instagram Live.
I know Reserve.
Oh, okay, cool. There it is.
Reserve.
Major, would you like to Okay.
Thank you so much for being here. I have to come around and introduce myself to those that do not know. I'm McFadyen-Ketchum, founder and editor of McFadyen-Ketchum.com. And you know, it's hard to have a good read without a really good audience. And I gotta tell you, about 15 minutes ago, my wife was taking pictures of my wife, which you'll touch base in here in a minute. And I was like, baby, the vibe is good. So thank you.
The vibe is good.
Very good. It's very good to see y'all here today. We have a hell of a lineup of poets. We are going to have about 10 of us, and then an intermission, and then 10 more of us, and then we will go somewhere else to get even more drunk than we already are. Speaking of getting drunk, I want everybody to look over to this dude right here, Kyle. He's the man. This PA system right here, he picked it up like this morning and brought it here and got a tutorial on how to set it up, and then we came to set it up and we thought we were missing stuff and we were sweating, and it all worked out. I mean, this guy right here, all beyond, Open Steel, thank you very much for hosting us. Really appreciate it, really appreciate it. All right, what do we need to talk about? So we got, let's do some introductions. So, you know what, I'm just going to hand the mic to Jerry and let him introduce himself.
There it is.
You're Jerry.
I'm Jerry. I'm Trevor Little. Nice to meet everybody. I'm the other person who helped me. I didn't really do shit this year. Thank you very much.
That's probably true.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. This is the third one we're doing together, right? The first time we did it was in Philadelphia, a week and a half out from the conference. We decided we would do it, and then we found a place, and it was amazing. And so over the years, now it's going. You want to do it again? Yeah, let's do it again. It's been so much fun. I love it. I'm so glad everybody was able to come out tonight and support it, support poetry. Yeah, I don't know much else to say other than I need a drink. And
so, a few things to say is, so about half the poets here today have been on poemweek.com already in one form or another. And what poemweek.com is, I started 18 years ago, and it started as an email list when I was in grad school. I was discovering all these poets who embarrassingly, like, everybody knew but me, because I was new to grad school, right? And I was emailing my friends and saying, like, oh my God, like, this guy, James Kimbrell, was really good, and this guy, Major Jackson. Major Jackson was on Poem of the Week, like, 17 years ago. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
still haven't paid.
Demo back then. I'm sorry, man. And so the other half are poets who Jerry knows, and so he brings this whole other element into it. And he was one of our guest editors, I don't know, 2 years ago or something like that. And so it's like, this is what's really exciting to me about what's happening right now is just, this is a really eclectic mix. I mean, just look around you. Look around, it's an eclectic mix of poets. We don't have to try. We get together, we know the poets we love, we bring them together, and we have an event, and it's like this. You know what I'm talking about? So, one thing I really want to encourage you to do, you look around you, you see someone you don't know, say, hey man, I'm Daniel. You know, I'm Jay. I'm Jay Bruce Fuller. Who the fuck are you? Right? Like, who are you? You know what I'm saying? I'm noticing more people don't have their name tags on, so we're not doing this all the time.
Fuck that. Exactly. Thank you. Fuck name tags.
Without further ado, Karen, my lovely wife.
Sometimes I take over poemoftheweek.com and I just put whoever I want to. And sometimes they've published before, sometimes they haven't. I'm not going to be doing too much except taking pictures of your beautiful faces. If you don't want your picture, no biggie, just let me know. Anyways, I hope you have a great time.
Yeah.
Okay, so readers. You got the carpet here that's covering chords, so just don't shred. And we're not going to read any bios.
Yep.
We're not going to do any of that. You can Google everyone. You can look them up. Oh, I know this. Oh, shit. You know, like that kind of thing. We all do it all the time. Without further ado, the indomitable Major Jackson.
Yeah.
Good evening. I don't write love poems. Here's one. It's called Lovesick. First, you will need to cross some dark threshold. I suggest lying on your back in a pasture of cut ryegrass or in a city park. I suggest planting an arm behind your head. You have inherited acres of a night sky, and she is your aurora borealis. And though you cannot see the world's wild shadows, here she will be, nacreous, grace wavering in bands of blue-green light, ribbons of gold neon swimming beneath skin. You will want to write a long letter to your dead. You will encounter her mind as a kind of iridescent song, heroic, intense. You will feel fetched as though from some polluted river. Her glances will pass over you like folklore. Do not be afraid. This is wonder mirroring itself and breaking across your face. Endless treetops in silhouette. Knowing looks of your elders. Thank you.
That's the way to start it off. Thank you, Major. I hate to follow that. Anyway, next person.
Yeah.
You know, like this whole thing's always great. We get to meet new people. And this person that I'm going to introduce her now, we've never met in person until this AWP, because I invited her to come meet with us and started working. Big fan. So I'm very happy to introduce Holly Yatter.
So I do write poems, but mostly about my kids, and here's one that's not. Braids. I don't know if we're meant for the stars, but I still like to hear his voice, see pictures of him maybe, his wife now and then. A handful of things to wake me, like sun stains. I used to like to hear his voice, see pictures of him lying with his hair in braids, then using his wife now and then. A handful of things to help me here. I'm alive, I'm static. I'm up lying with his hair in braids, and using the sun to part the trees and the trees to help me here. I'm alive, I'm static. I'm not listening to him breathe. I've designed the sun to part the trees and the trees to give way. Sure, he may pull through, but I'm not listening to him breathe. I've designed an answer. The answer to everything is to give way. Sure, he may pull through, but I'm not meant for the stars or braids. I've designed an answer. The answer to everything is to hear his voice, see pictures of him, maybe.
Nice.
How did it work out that I'm the one doing this right now? Back and forth usually. Another great poet. How did we meet? Oh, San Antonio. The pandemic, AWP. That was a lot of fun. Yay! Let's not talk about it anymore. Faisal Mu'minin.
So, I've been, for most of October, I've been struggling with about what's happening outside in that area. And I started writing these haiku called Ceasefire Haiku, and I've written like a sequence of them. So these are the prayers, this is the prayer sequence. And it's 9 words. 9. 1. Pray spurn despair as their slayer. 2. Pray for the young who learned to translate rage into light, grief into light. 3. Pray for the elders whose blood holds a history blessed by fearlessness. 4. Pray for the storytellers whose sharpened voices cut through lies free. 5. Pray for the newborns left to die. They too beheld this savage freight. 6. Pray for the distant witnesses. May they always fight for justice, peace. 7. Pray for the villains too, that their dead hearts might house some buds of mercy. 8. Pray for the dead, God's children, martyred. Ask them for forgiveness, ours, yours. 9. O Lord, bless us with bigger hearts, vast enough to hold grief and virtue. Thank you.
All right. I actually got that out of order there. Yeah. So speaking of San Antonio, I figured I'm from San Antonio. I should say that if you don't know. So yeah, gotta bring that up again.
Let's forget about that.
Yeah, let's do this. Anyway, good friend from San Antonio, Jen.
So thanks so much. Thanks again, guys, for having me. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to read 2 short poems, and they're in conversation with each other. This is not me plugging my scrapbook. What my mother cannot feed me. Hunger by proxy. I am wide open, suspended, a pink beast hanging from the sky of an overpriced hotel room. A stranger waits on my bed, begs my descent. He wants to be fed, but I cannot feed him. I fly across a hall to a bedroom. It no longer exists. I cry out to my mother. I want to feed her, but I cannot eat. Collapsed on the floor, she begs to be fed, but I cannot feed her. My mother stretches her neck. Unhinged, she widens her jaw. I keep from her swallowing all that she denies me. My hips starved and severed breasts. I choke, I release, rope and hoist. My body hangs from the bleed. My body flings across the ceiling. I want to return to my stranger. I need to be fed. Mother, consume me. Running, invasive memory. I know of sin and shame, the obligation of silence in my body, the red ribboning loom of womanhood, proem to my suffering. I am beatified by Mother Mary as I run. Holy, obedient girl of intact hymen, I pray for the licentious lust of Mary Magdalene. I want the hunger of a woman abandoned for fucking, the dishonor of breasts and disgrace of thickening clitoris. I want to suspend the red ribboning loom of my womanhood, of sin and my sex. I run miles to reach my bones, my rib, my altar.
I'm going to be right before the break.
All right, I said one guy reading bios, but you know, the next reader, you know, if you fuck with him too much, he'll block you on Facebook like it don't mean nothing. That's it. Saeed, come on, man, get up here. Come on.
He's not joking. Probably already blocked you. It's okay, I have disabilities, so that makes it okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I want to tell you a story, but instead I'm dancing all over the page like Ali in the fucking ring. I'm hoping all this flash, look at my technical writing ability, will distract you from what's missing. What's actually happened, Saeed? Why can't you tell us a straight story? Pimp out traumatic memories for poetry pennies. Because, fuckface, this is the only brain body I have. It's dancing between disability, Somali, English, and neurodivergence. It is masking, unmasking. It is twerking when I ask it to produce a single line. I am merely a passenger in this life. Any semblance of control is an illusion, created by years of layering, hiding, deflecting. I was born deflecting. I was born to question. My life wasn't guaranteed. Only death is certain. I was born to write, true, but for whom? Let me start by blocking you. As Wayne said, I've been like that for a long time. Looks like I'm gonna die that way too. But that's okay. I promise you a story. So here it is. Fellow Kuti said, I want to tell you a story. He never tells you the story. Simply states, put your legs and arms together, open and close. Throw your legs and arms away. He teaches you how to dance as you wait for a story which never unfolds. As if the dance can force you to feel a story. When words fail, dance, feel, open, story, close. When a honeybee discovers fresh pollen and returns to the hive and says, Fela Kuti. The bee begins to dance thereafter, story open. The hive watches, learns, patient, story closed. The dance is not a dance, but a map of steps, a language hidden in rhythm, a map to glory, to pollen, to the meaning of feeling, a Fela Kuti feeling, which words, countries, years cannot teach or convey, a story, a hope, close. Now here we stand before you like the first of some brand new fucking species, quoting Kuti like Proust, stealing lines from Alfie Solomon's, words lurching over you like a Goliath of unspeakable dimensions, claiming to tell you a story. We just want you to feel what it's like to be born into a war, how surviving is sometimes a worse fate than death. No. Story. Clothes, legs, arms away. Perhaps I'm not the right man to tell you this story. Too goddamn sensitive. Perhaps I care more about myself than your entertainment. Or perhaps I just don't care. In the psych ward back in Seattle, we used to say, I don't care about being alive. Why would I care about you? Open. Story. Fella. Be. Kuti. Dance. Close. I wish I could tell you this story. Could open myself. But the gates of trauma remain closed. A dam. A Sisyphean boulder. The levees just before Katrina made landfall. Sometimes we erect walls around ourselves, hoping to keep the world at bay. Or to keep the pain within. Sometimes we care so much about others that we can't let that pain out. As if the pain is Katrina, or the heart is a levee, or the story is taking shelter in a football stadium, praying this isn't the last place we see before eternal destiny. I still want to tell you a story. It has no happy endings, no known beginning. It is a love story which grew by the shadow under which nothing can grow. It's not supposed to be possible, a myth, like meteor goldfish. And yet here it is on a subreddit discovered by a fish tank cleaner. Yet here it stands. Here I stand, open, close to you, having grown in a place that speaks a tongue which punctuates every phrase with death. We escaped the war, the grave awaits. Stack the bread, the crew, hope for a pint of payday in the world beyond. Malik City Bay taught me how to steal people's genie souls inside his Bamako studio. This is a metaphor for obfuscation. Perhaps the real issue is that a story construct cannot hold the meaning of life or what it means to think you are alive. Perhaps this sentence is the last thought you will have post-mortem. The lingering electrochemical signals sent from brain to body which cause limb twitches despite obvious death written on body, etched in face. To those who boldly face falsehood, steps retraced, pockets full of posy regrets, ringworm around Rosemary's head, wreaths, weight, hate, berries of ash, tinsel tonsils, cabbage patch, asinine like expecting introspection from Travis Scott lines. A coroner coughs begonias. A poet welcomes you home. Look, son, this is all we own, the land, but only if it hasn't by white men been stole. Fly over this stolen land. The thieves are pilots preaching Stonewall Jackson, Confederate captains mumbling unsure quips like, we just want to get their history right. Start by giving that fucking land back. Pay back the life debt from those you stole it from. But you don't want that. You stole this place. Wash its history away with the blood of your victims. Now flex email signatures with living on stolen land of such and such tribe. Suck my dick. Your victims' bodies hang from clothes wire like so much lost linen. Skeletons littering swampland like strange fruit scarecrows. Fuck you. Fuck Genocide Joe. Free Philistine. And if you disagree, we have a saying in Somali. Silka abaha was fuck your father's pussy.
That right there is why the fuck we get in here and do this shit. Give that guy another round of applause. Hell yeah. Oh my God. Whew. That takes some guts, man. Donovan, I'm really sorry, but you're next. Let's give a round of applause for Donovan McAfee, y'all. Come on, guys. Get up here. He has this look on his face like, oh, God, what am I going to do?
I'm just in a lot of pain. My back is hurting. And I thought about soliciting the crowd for painkillers, but in this crowd, I'm afraid that some of the things I might end up with might be not a little less than legal.
I got mushrooms.
So I wrote a poem about two of my favorite people. Me and Jesus. Usually in that order. Because Jesus can be kind of demanding. Follow me, love people. It's no fun loving people. Don't try it. It's awful. But this poem's called Hanging Out with Jesus on a Sunny Day. Nothing at all like what we expected, his second coming. No trumpet, no clouds, no 1,000-year reign. He just showed up one day at delightful dishes and became a regular at the lunch counter. A fixture around town those 3 years before he disappeared again. Jesus Christ himself in Inman, South Carolina. Whenever I'd see him walking down the street, I'd yell out, "Hey, Jesus." And he'd say, "Donovan, my man." We'd high-five, chest bump, bring it in here, how you been kind of hug. One day, Jesus and me started comparing beards. And he gave me a hard time about all the gray in mine. And I felt just a little sensitive about the gray and about the aging. And I got just a little huffy with my bromance savior. So I started making your mama jokes at Jesus. And my goodness, he got touchy because Jesus, is he ever defensive about his mama? Particularly about her virginity. Which, to be fair, proves easy fodder for your mama jokes. But then I said, "I'm sorry, Jesus, can you forgive me?" And he said, "Yeah, I kind of have to. It's just part of the game." And I felt a little sorry for Jesus, since he's not even allowed to hold a grudge. And what's life all about if not to hold on to a petty resentment every now and then? And I realized maybe being God really isn't all it's cracked up to be. Then Jesus healed a few sick folk like he always did. Before he started in with the party tricks, he knelt on the ground next to the flower bed at the library, gathered a mound of red clay with his hands and formed it into a dove. He blew his breath into its tiny beak, and then, without a word, he flung the bird into the air. We watched it fly up and up into the blue, clear, endless sky.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a great
Yeah. Yeah.
Next
This is one way to do it.
Yeah.
I love it.
She's
I
cool.
love it.
Yeah.
Let's
Do
do
great
it.
work. And I want you all a huge round of applause for Daryl Alejandro Holmes.
Or at least do.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here tonight, Kansas City, Missouri. A friend of mine is developing work with Najla Saeed, who is the daughter of Abed Saeed, the scholar. And I decided to write this poem for Najla, for Gaza. So, beloved, we have lost the gardenias sitting on your collar, the zamzam sliding down your nape, the aromatics softening tender into your wrist. But in the wind hangs salt, the color of mud and bombs, the endings, but also the beginnings of things. But in the air hangs a Shannara's crow. At the sun, it sings. Tomorrow, tomorrow, we will bloom, we will bleed. Tomorrow, tomorrow, we play paradise with poppy seeds. Tomorrow, tomorrow, we'll have cactus pears for hearts that will never stop beating. No matter the airstrikes, no matter the bloodshed, no matter the hard ears, no matter the dark. Jerry dared me to read a work in progress, so I'm going to just end with this short poem. It's for anybody who's ever had long distance love. It's called Nudes.
It's fair.
I can't help but let you watch me, as if there was only smoke between us, or white lies, or a single broken promise, instead of a half country. I can't help but turn red at the thought of you, rubbing your light to pictures of me in the dark on your cell phone, until you catch a fire from all that LED. I send you little sweet nothings and emojis. I send you little sweet love songs and voice notes of my last breaths without you. As if we're teens falling in love for the first time and failing at language. Instead of millennials in our 30s, or somehow even older than that. Trying to keep up with modern love and its way of shrinking spaces so I can feel as if it's right next to me, your very, very large heart.
Beautiful. That was beautiful. This next reader is joining us. She just came from the Grammys. Julia Hicks.
No, I'm not going to sing. I'm not even going to do anything from an album. I'm going to do a poem from my new book called A Map of My Want. And one of my earliest mentors is in the room, Cyrus. I don't know if you remember an essay I turned in an undergrad called Orgasmos, but that became the root of this book, A Map of My Wants. So,
Yeah.
all right. This is called Living Will and Testament. When my time is done, anybody wants to know what I want? This is it, okay? This is the formal one. I'm going to get a lawyer to testify to that. Living Will and Testament. When I'm old and tired of being tired, when my spine is as thin as hair, my eyes opaque sheets cloudy with missing memories, when I can no longer hold myself close with my tiny, tiny bird hands, can no longer feel for myself the heavy dimple of my belly, when my feet lose meat and my hips blotch like ripe banana skin, if it is time to, let me go. Let me go to the river to greet the green hall of my death with laughter and obscenity. Let me fall into bed one last ecstatic time so I can surrender myself to the feather and thread, shade and shake of my pillows once more before the shades are drawn. I want my last dance to be with someone who reminds me of me. A vortex of a grin swallowing me whole with their worship of my body, my mind, my spirit. I want my last kiss to blast into my mouth and live in the well of me, a single aurora vibrating until I slow and still. Let my last taste be salty and sweet, a silky morsel dissolving on my tongue. Let the last sound be the acoustics of guttural laughter, forbidden sex, raucous applause, a riot's chant, and a newborn crying. Give me the soft breeze of a midsummer afternoon gliding between my legs, the scent of an oncoming storm, the bass drop, the shattering glass, the car horns, the fuzzy bee floating across the quiet floor. I want to wave, lapping the back door of my home. Give me a home. I want one last look in the mirror. One last glance at the woman I've become, and just before closing, give me one last shot at the bar. If I am loved at all, there will be rows and rows of wilting white roses, lavender and hyssop, spider lilies and Spanish moss, frayed palm leaves and fresh cut grass. There will be bowls of milk and honey, cinnamon and ginger root mixed with whiskey or rum, seawater and salt and hot peppers. If I am remembered at all, there will be a thick-waisted man, a stripper who makes 6 figures a year, and an ex-minister / trans beauty to start off my eulogy. The last meal will be everything I've ever eaten. There will be creams and fresh baked breads, fish stuffed with peppers, candy stones and balloons made out of sugar. If I am remembered at all, every person in attendance will fast for 3 days and 3 nights before coming to my funeral. Someone should come to my funeral. If not my child, then anyone standing outside the corner store will do. They should rest. And someone should rent a room for resting, because my funeral will last for 7 days. For 7 days, sweaty musicians should be unable to keep their hands from twitching over their instruments, unable to hold their liquor or their wells. Sing me to sunrise. There should be horrible poems being read late into the next morning over lukewarm coffee and gin. Someone should quote Romans 8:38-39 and make the sign of Yenaya. Someone should fall in love at my funeral. Please let it end with love. Let there be a day of giving. On this day, everyone should eat only what someone else has offered and can only receive when they have offered something at the church. Only women should lead the prayers. The prayer should be to my long dead mother, or my long dead first husband, or my long dead second wife, or my long dead chastity. Someone should make fun of the prayers. The whole church should laugh. Let the church have windows as tall as the pillars, a garden that empties out into the street so that the people I never knew can come into the air conditioning and eat. Someone should be baptized in the nearby river in a sudden fit of joy. They should be washed clean of their insecurities and doubt. Rise, new disciples of themselves. There should be a story, a new story written about the old one that died. She should be dangerously fierce, black and hungry. She should be a he the second time around. He should be deliciously handsome, black and hungry. Surely someone will think they saw her once, walking around with a long twisted pipe, him with his gold-dipped wreath of Gloriosa, them with their ticking hips. On the seventh day, at the funeral for the living and the dead, I want to sit on the church's wall, sweaty in my best red velvet gown under which I am wearing nothing, watching my body burn one last time.
Yeah. Who's gonna have to go? This is a great meeting for you to be a part of. Who's gonna have to go? As long as it's not raining, because I don't want anything to do with it.
Maybe think about, my little person has been working on their like funeral playlist.
Right? I have.
I'm in my 40s now, but I've been thinking about it since I was 20, so I'm sort of a poet, right? Anyway, so, well, this next person is wearing an Andre the Giant t-shirt, and I've never felt so seen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bobby Boucher of American poetry. James Fuller.
Here we go. Here we go.
Man, I feel bad because I read the same poem in the same bar last night, so probably I'm about to be bored.
Hell yeah, let's go.
But it's the only one I got, man. It's in the new book. Out now, How to Drown Boys.
Came out like, what, a week ago?
Something like that.
Damn, whatever. Let's go.
It's not paying the bills yet, but it's all right. This poem's called They Said It. They said Bo was on that crystal and that's why he lost so much weight. Come back from summer break looking long and thin, so the coaches moved him from left tackle to outside linebacker. And I was so skinny, the kids made jokes and threw food at me in the cafeteria. They said, eat a cheeseburger, Kuyon, they said. And I didn't want to be skinny no more, and I didn't want to be weak no more, and I didn't want to do crystal. Even though Bo was popular now, even though his new girlfriend was a real Dixie queen, and when the Archlimist knew, said he was dead, I didn't understand, and I didn't know they also called it meth. They said the Lord wasn't going to flood the world no more, but he must have forgot about us. So we took what we could from the waterlogged houses, mostly guns, mostly pill bottles, mostly things we could sell, no questions asked. In my neighbor's house, I smashed the door of a gun cabinet, and the deer etched on the glass scattered. They said, take that shit, hurry the fuck up, but I just stood there looking till we left. They said, you a pussy, you could have made a fortune. Then they said Edward got sent to Angola and come back with a swastika on his neck. They said blood is made in the bones, but oil comes from the Gulf. And when the storms rock the rigs, the chaplain takes confessions and the boys cross themselves all night. They said Big Dan got blowed up and burned all over, and now he lights his cigarettes with his ring finger. They said the settlement money long gone. They said when the rigs catch fire, some boys jump. They said them boys burn, and even the water can't put them out. They said his daddy's a son of a bitch, and they said he's a drunk, and they said he ain't got no daddy no ways. I try to remember everything I don't know about myself, like is he inside here somewhere just waiting to lash out at me. They said you look so much like your daddy, you so much like him I can spit. And they said he killed a man, and that's why he run off. And I remember the night in the kitchen sink, and Mom yelling, and the blood running down his face, and I know it's true. They said, if you don't fight him, then we'll beat your ass. So I took the 3-foot branch of pine from the side of the road and I bashed his fucking face in. I can't remember his name, but I know they say it sometimes when they're drunk and looking back and thinking about how good they had it back then when we were hungry and terrible and young. They said, you one of us now. They said, you don't never have to be alone now. They said, you did good. They said, you did good. They said, you did good. Merci.
This next poet is a special guest. We're on Flyer Gazelle. I asked her to read with us the other night at bar. Because I do fun things like that. Carolyn Hamburg.
Thank you, Jerry. Thanks, thank you, Andrew. Thanks for having me. You know, I'm a little bit of an add-on. Lagniappe, as we say, where I'm from, New Orleans.
Yeah.
Who dat? Thank you, Chambers, A poem from this book for today. It's set in the Gulf South, deals with motherhood, grief, that kind of thing. I'll just read a short little night song. We'll sing between a mother and daughter over dinner. Nocturne. My daughter molds a gun from bread. Why do gods make us eat? Witness, divine resurrection of yesterday's sides. I scrape my plate. August so on. Sweat your bullets of stars over our shrinking soiree. Alluvial fluted trunks, swamp iris, lone owl in the live oak drop grass of Avenue Magnolias, this shotgun houses, gable rookery, these leftovers. Her flimsy sunbeam pistol to my head. I am not and do not like you, mother. Don't play with your food, pistol. Copper skitters on the fire. Something's done. Something unfair. I'll have my drink. What's got my get may get me too. Play dead. Each day a shallow sucking wound. Thank you.
Next poet, I mean, he's not that important, he's just here. The other post. Andrew McFadyen-Ketchum.
I hate to say it, but I have this bad feeling we need to go to AWPLA. This meeting is so awesome that it's actually making me want to go to AWPLA.
Yeah.
Which is not really what I was into. Mm-hmm. I'm serious, like every year I go to AWP and I'm like, what am I doing here?
Yeah,
What is the point of this?
yeah.
You don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Right? And when we started doing these readings, it answered the question, we were talking about this 2 hours ago. I was like, just watch, we'll have this reading, it'll be awesome, and then we'll be totally screwed and have to go to LA. By the way, I really love LA. I've been in LA for years. But thank you so much. I mean, really, like, the energy's so high, and the vibes are good, and it's just, it means a lot to me. It means everything. Thank you. So, I'm going to read this poem, and we're going to take a 10-minute intermission. It's mostly just to kind of get some fresh air, go to the bathroom, kind of thing. And then we'll come back and we've got our second half. And this poem, so I was married for quite some time, the first time, and did not have a family out of it. And for me, a family of a couple can be a family, right? But for me, it meant having children. And that was not going to happen, right? So I said, okay, I gotta move on and figure things out. And when I did that, in that process, I met Karen here. And now we have 3 children, all of whom are technically hers, but they're more mine than anybody, right? And I didn't even mean to do this, but this third book of mine is about the process of going from divorce to finding your family. And the first poem, Karen often says, how on earth does Trump get that shit happening? How on earth does this happen? How on earth? And so it kind of got into my mind. So it's kind of funny. A couple of months ago, I realized, man, my third book is about finding my family with Karen. The first line is her line.
Huh.
And this poem was also on the Slow Down Selection by Major Jackson. So there you go. I'm going to read this. All right, this is on Earth. If the dead don't know how on earth to live, how on earth can the living? Mistakes stack up like nights. We get in over our heads whether or not we truly love the ones we're with. no one asks to be dropped onto the glass like this. And though we do not rehearse our deliveries, we find ourselves delivered nonetheless into these thin-skinned vessels we call the self, in which we love, and lose, and lose again and again. And must learn to trust the stars are fixed in the ether despite our first fevers. Our mothers either wringing their hands over us in our cribs through the night, or trusting our illness burns brightly, yes, but nowhere near as bright as us.
Nice.
Thank you very much. 10 minutes. Go have your cigarettes, go get your beers and your whiskey and your bathrooms, and come right back. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I didn't rock it, so I'm not going to sour the stomach. You know, like, yeah. Thank you. So, no, that I would have been intimidated going up there because it's like everybody was just so. Yeah, it was scary. Yeah, you were totally up there with great height of it. So, thank you. My kid needs me. I'm going to go outside and smoke and call her. I'm going to run outside and get my little cigarette.
Yeah, I don't think I should do it.
How are you? Absolutely. How was your day? Like, I'm going to get up, right?
I'm digging that. Oh. It is nice. Couldn't be happy. It's not bad, right?
That's how everyone did.
Me and Jerry just know each other, and so that's actually the Texas crowd. And then my crowd's like all the way from all over the place. But yeah.
You have a community?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny.
I just love talking about this up and down.
Right, yeah. No, I'm good on that. I'm enthusiastic, genuinely happy to meet up.
Was you reading?
Okay, so the Louisiana crew. I've only met Jay from Louisiana crew.
Long evening, yeah. Your daughter's okay? But, yeah. So it's always, yeah. Is your kitty still like, I mean, 14 months post-pancreatic cancer? Honestly, the only other cat I know who's more intrepid than your cat. I took care of this guy. His name was Patrick. He was 23, and his mom was Irish, so she went back to Dublin, and I was in charge of Patrick. And it was the IV bag of saline every day, tuna and pumpkin, and taking him off the bed so he could go use the box and put him back on. It was like a bag of 23, but it was still like pissy and, you know, or fight. Wileen still wakes us up in the morning to scream for her food. She is still a boss. She still smacks the fuck out of the dog, Rose. On her way through, just like, you're in my way, and just fucking boxes her. She's got a feeding tube, but that's mainly for her medications, because there's so many, we have to, but she doesn't give a fuck. I mean, she doesn't give a fuck. So she got good blood work. my child is stable and has been. I think I told. Have I told you how? A little bit. Yeah. It's been a dark garden path. I'll tell you that. It's been a dark garden path. But it's better now. I'm so glad. It's nice to finally see you. All on the internet. See you all on the internet.
No, we're real.
Yeah, we are real. So they have been stable more or less for a while now. No, how old are they? 14. That's so really it's a horrible age to be. It is horrible. Who wants to be that age? Nobody. But we're a lot better than they were, say, in 2020. There was some hospitalization. It was really sad. I was actually working at school, middle school kids and high school kids. Terrible. Oh God, just like the mental health damage. I watched it in real time, and it was just. I've never seen anything like it. The number of them who have been hospitalized, I mean, it's not unusual. It's not unusual at all. And it's just been, I mean, we've been very, you've got two overeducated parents who have resources and are able to, strategize and just mercilessly try to twist the system. But I think of, and I witness, because Minnie goes to a school that's it's a charter, but it's a public school, basically. And I watch friends go through the same thing who don't have the resources, that don't have the parents that are, and it's just, it's excruciating to see, the difficulties that are faced by these kids, and the have and the fucking have-nots, in New Orleans it's writ large. Well, St. Louis was like that. Exactly. Yeah, it's a sister city. But it's a sister city. Yeah, it's a sister city. Because y'all are up in Mississippi, up the top, where it's the same jazz. I mean, Henry, y'all are kindred spirits, or kindred folk fun. It's very different people. I'm so glad he introduced us. Oh yeah, it was just very kismet-ish. Yeah, it was. When we started meeting and talking about poetry, I was like, oh my god, this is perfect. This is amazing. It's things just click into place sometimes. It makes up for all the times they don't click into place, which is most of the time. Most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's hard, but I felt so and now that you're in the program, it's just so beautiful to have you in there with. It's a joy. It took way too long to get there, but it feels like exactly the right place. Because if I had gone a while ago, I feel like the world is so different now. It's better different, it's perfect. It's exactly what it should be. Have things worked out a little better or smoothed out with the stuff you're dealing with or something? Well, Thomas got on a different drug. Okay. Blood thinner. He was on Coumadin, which is an anti-drug, and he was just always going through the emergency room for boxing his legs and stuff. And it made him really sick and big. But now,
poet, say poet. Poet, say poet.
Poetess.
That's the cheesiest way to get the reading back into order here, but
it's much better.
This is the worst thing fourth graders lunch.
I'm not afraid to say that. That's really everything. That's the only thing that matters ultimately is the health of your family, your beloved. That's.
And we're gonna launch it with a badass mofo, Lauren Camp. Give Lauren Camp all your love.
All right.
Hello, everyone. This reading has been so amazing, and I have decided decided I was going to read this and then this and then this and then this. And I'm going to read you a poem from the Grand Canyon. Because it's nothing like Kansas City, and because I was there for a month, and so let me take you there. It's called History of History. In dark, thick as a marsh, in scrub brush, in awe of the cremation, pegmatite, and dark rock temple, compression, the dark continental crust, the biggest erasure. In that space, mouthing leftover pricks of potential, the fungi and moss, juniper, brittle brush, landing back into narrow-leaf yucca, locust, mahonia, sedges, and asters. And in what wraps the land, but has vanished. As you were in search of dark approval, dark sandstone, fault, and main granite prominent shifts. Dark mule print, chickadee, elk scat, dark seeps and springs, dark wild pine wobble, mountain warbler, once used snaffle bit, headstock and reins, dark file, hammer, and forge tongs, the dark spiny cacti, dark lasso and spurs, dark gabbro and clastic strata. Resting tribal relatives, dark buried swerve, a flannel mouth suffers, dark breathing, dark nocturnal stereoscopic eyes. Dark past century in a house made as a camera, relaxing from excess, dark trusty roost, dark Zoroaster and coyote as ghosts. The nice and radioactive decay. Dark bank of the creek, dark sycamore. Dark illegible ripple and dark uphill. Early formation, dark dip. You liked it that way. A dark thought experiment. Moods while alone. Dark ease and in dark. This is really hard. Dark ease and in dark because you are lucky to find such slowing. The stars casual and shiny in their lavish dark chapel. And even if you don't know what you see, you will see. You can let the dark silence remake you, let it fall into you, first with its random bewilderments. Let it wear you, let it do this again. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
So I asked Andrew if I could introduce this person because they're important to me in a good way. So when I was an undergrad at Texas State, my senior seminar, I was quickly becoming a full-time single father. And I didn't know if I was going to go to grad school. It was kind of like not going to happen. And this person was super encouraged. He understood how much I needed it, and was always like, "Here, there's this program, there's an online program, there's this. I know you need it, Jared. You have to go to grad school." And he's one of those people that had to say the right things to get me going, and get me where I am today. And so I'm very proud of the fact that I got to work with Cyrus himself.
Wow, it's really something to have the love of my students and know that at some point I said something to them. Sometimes I just feel like a little babysitter. Gary Nails is amazing. So my new book just came out, available yesterday. It was written 5 years ago, and it's very sexy. I mean, I've aged it, but anyway, this is my... Never! Yeah, this is my sexiest, funniest one. It's called Is There Room for Another Horse on Your Horse Ranch?
Yeah.
And someone actually said to me, a French bartender, I was trying to explain to him I had a fellowship on a horse ranch. He goes, is there room for the horse? And a Jory Graham reading. This is the final poet's elegy. It's called I Believe Icarus Was Not Failing as He Fell. You've just died in my arms, but suddenly it seems we're eternal Cali boys, afro-haired cohorts in crime, racing through intricate lattices of prints and limited shadows, corridors of Queen Anne's lace. On the skip church Sunday, you dubbed me Sir Sirius instead of Cyrus. Then swift as tears leap were devotees of goatees and showy Guatemalan shirts, intoxicated lovers for a month on the northwest coast of Spain, praising the irrepressible sounds of a crusty Galician bagpiper on La Coruña's dripping Finisterre, then gossiping and climbing like the giddy Argonauts we were. I'm sorry, the lofty ancient Roman lighthouse. Okay, we're climbing the lofty ancient Roman lighthouse. All the way, keep on trucking, we say. All the way to the top of the Tower of Hercules.
You know, I think I've seen a lot of people get announced to come up to a stage. I've never seen someone walk as slow. You
don't have to hurry. You don't have to hurry.
All right, so we're not reading bios, but we are going to share like little anecdotes. So the next reader, man, like, there's so many things to say. The big thing to say is this: you know, when you're a poet and you don't have a book yet. And so this is the thing about poemoftheweek.com. It's like we have poets who have books, right? Like that's how it sort of works. Like we celebrate books that exist. And that's the only negative thing about Poem of the Week. It's like, what about people who don't have books, you know, right? So, but what happens is I'm out in the world, I'm meeting people and getting to know them and whatnot, and I get to know people who have 10 books. We got people here who have 10 books. We have people who have 3 books. We have people here who have no books. And so, this next reader, you know, I watched him really struggle through the process, and I made this a little too personal. I apologize to the next reader. I watched him struggle. I mean, he was pretty honest about it on Facebook, but you know, I watched him struggle through the process of getting that book out. He was a finalist for this. I mean, he was a finalist for the goddamn fucking presidency. I swear to God, he was a finalist for everything, and yet he was not quite getting there. How many people here know how that feels?
Over.
I mean, come on, we all know how that feels. If we don't know how it feels yet, we're going to know very soon. You know, and so I just love this dude. He was honest about his feelings. He says what he believes, and he's here to read a poem for us. This is Luke Johnson, ladies and gentlemen.
That was like intimate bedtime story. Shit. No any whiskey there. To the therapist who says it's time to move on. I'll just let that hang first. I press my ear to earth to listen to flies cluster. Cradle crows the neighbor's son shoots and weave their throats with night jars. I ripped a phone one from its cord and dug a hole so deep I could stand inside and sing to my father in hell. Last night my lover let out Thelonious in the autumn air and walked the woods with naked breasts, her hips still wide from birth. She let my lips traverse them tenderly, slow a line of spit like Morse code, and crown her head in moonflowers. When my son was born, he was soundless. Like a horn in its red case, soundless. The bill of an orgasm, soundless. As a boy, I watched Dad gut a pig, slide his hand through its stomach, soundless. That night he fried the tongue in the hog's fat and slurped its soft heart, soundless. I've tried so many ways to say goodbye. Hypnosis, late walks, water, God, shaped totems out of broken clocks to coax his twisted shadow. My mentor tells me lines of lyrics are open doors the dead find a pleasure in passing through. But no matter the door, there was always a shovel. And no matter the shovel, there was always a loss. And loss is a crater where the living reside. Yes, someone has to dig.
So many times when I like, oh my God, I really starting to follow this person, and then what's really amazing is that the next person like totally kicks ass and follows that person. So I'm fairly confident. And again, I said I wasn't gonna read bios, but damn, this person right here, like seriously, when people talk about literary citizenship, you know, like usually they're like tipping their cap to a bunch of nonsense. In this case, it's not true. Give them all you've got for Kai Coggin. Come on now.
Thank you, everybody. The children of Gaza. This is a wailing in words for the children of Gaza. The children of Gaza with not enough gauze to bandage their wounds, to cover their eyes, to reattach their limbs. Did you know that the word gauze comes from Gaza, city of textiles and silk, city of strength? Now Gaza has no words left, no city, no words, no city, no words, only new acronyms like WCNSF, wounded child, no surviving family. The children of Gaza have been buried under buildings or laid next to mothers in mass graves or eaten by animals because they couldn't be recovered from the streets under nights of constant firebombs. The children of Gaza are dying, are dead. 11,500 children. I keep having to change that number every time I read this poem. 11,501 by now, little bright ones. Their limbs are not metaphors. Their splayed arms are not the branches of olive trees. Their eyes are not the seeds of lemons. Their cries are not the songs of freedom or liberation or hope. Their cries are just cries. They don't symbolize anything. No deeper meaning here, just that they wanted to be alive. Instantaneously gone, evaporated by a barrage of bombs, burned, lost, wiped out, eradicated, eliminated. Their small, limp bodies are not metaphors, do not represent some greater cause. Their tears are just tears, negative space rivers pouring clean down their soot-covered cheeks, faces of dust and ash. I slipped in a metaphor there, a river. But the children of Gaza are still dead. They are silenced. They are bloody and broken in pieces, shards. They are covered by stones that were once a city. They are amputated and harshly stitched. The children of Gaza are bagged as the tiniest martyrs,
Names written on their arms in case they are found alive. Names buried, families buried, generations buried, mothers' mouths filled with ruby rubble, dust, and screaming. Premature babies are left to decompose in a firebombed hospital, still hooked up to dead machines. They needed life support, so the nurses left them hooked up, but the nurses had to escape or be killed. Life support. What can support life here for the children of Gaza? Their families flee to the beaches only to be shelled by warships from the sea. The children of Gaza have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, nowhere to escape, only horror and destruction, only everything turned into memory or blackness, only death and the smell of death. Their bodies are not metaphors, nothing figurative about the language of this loss. Their small dead fingers point toward only their homeland laid to waste. They point at us asking, why didn't you stop this? They point toward endings, not a future, not dreams, not laughter, not tomorrow. Dear little ones, dear souls of our souls, I am sorry we've failed you. I am sorry that we could not make our bodies an iron dome above your skies, that your mother's cries and father's hands could not shield you from the airstrikes, from the white phosphorus breathing into your lungs as you screamed your last breaths, from the genocide of your people filling the streets with blood. There are no metaphors here. Dear children of Gaza, beautiful living ghosts, beautiful dead ghosts, we weep for you. We weep for you. We weep for you. You are our children. Thank you for holding space for that poem.
So Kai runs Listen at Poetry, and all through the pandemic, it was online, and she totally made it work, and it was really an amazing thing. So, deep respect to her. Let's give her one more round of applause.
Yeah.
Next up, so on Poem of the Week, like, this is kind of funny, because some people are on Poem of the Week like 18 years ago. This dude was on 8 years ago. It's still a while ago. Aaron Coleman, everybody.
Yeah.
So grateful to get to share this space with all of y'all here for all these poems that we need. I couldn't decide what to read, then I found out that this was a whiskey bar. This poem is dedicated to all matriarchs, specifically black matriarchs, and to my grandmother, Minnie, a fire she loved. The whiskey slipped into the cut between her first finger and her thumb. As she raised the lowball glass and she didn't stop to rinse it. She didn't wince until her long pull was already midway down her throat. A fire she loved. Heavier and warmer you feel on her face of the oven as she worked through the night into the early morning. Halfway drunk in the ancient basement kitchen of her former high school's lunchroom, an industrial oven, wide enough for 5 pies, dark tins as broad as her father's open hands. Meat pies or fruit pies, but most often her famous sweet potato. The smell of such sweetness as she lifted and leaned mixed with her body's sweat and was at first sacred, then nauseating, then nothing at all, when it became the habit of her life. Every day, unrelenting reality. She would sing under her breath spirituals that surprised her about herself. She was long grown beyond the church, but she remembered on this, before morning, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. In one word, no weapon. Almost absurd, but not, as she slides the cutting board and trusted knife away into the potato skin tatters and takes a bigger caramel swig, considering the smoke of it, smiling to herself lately. She wonders not how she got down there, but why she stayed down there and did the work that she did, feeding so many on her own.
Give it up again for Benjamin Garcia. Being in Texas,
Yes.
I felt that we should at least represent because I don't really like Texas. I'm kidding. So we got somebody from Houston representing for us tonight. Reyes Ramirez.
Sup, y'all? Sup, Casey Mo. HDX, Hustle Town, Space City, Bayou City, however you want to call it. That's where I'm from. So, everything that's been said so far. I'm going to give you a Houston call.
Yes.
Alright. If you're from Houston, you'll get this. If you're not from Houston, clap if you know the values. But it's called Being High in a Movie Theater on West Highlands, My America.
Let's go.
Tracking shots of broken teeth kaleidoscope my phantom skin. When I remember to look up, they're talking about a bomb in someone's country to be dealt with as a metaphor for how perfect an empire's engine percolates. Wait, all the characters are played by one white actor, switching wigs and inflating lips mid-scene, using CGI. The sidekick is someone's Theo and a canary body, crooning your regular body. Hold on, that's different. That's an insurance commercial from 2002. This guy's different. Doing the same voice, playing a villain who wants revenge. His origin story is, quote, America took everything from me. Cut to the right bomb resting in the womb of a red school. Quote, he's taking this too far, the white actor responds, while staring at my empty hands. This is too obvious. I mean, there's even a scene where the white actor says they don't see brown, black, white, blue, purple, blurple. I already can't remember how the movie ends. It's okay. I'll daydream it later. Because right now I have to not fall down some stairs. I leave my seat. Pebbles of stars lead me to an exit, like I'm leaving an orientation to enter an afterlife. Now to pick the correct door. By the time the lobby lens flared to me, I realized the movie hadn't ended. Oh, fuck. I'm too embarrassed to complete what I paid for. My eyes panoramic and focus on a family not mine, but very much mine in a sitcom about me. The child pulls their mother to a poster for a movie about a laughing dog played by that white actor. The mom reminds him, y si Dios quiere, which translates to, I will give it everything I have, but there's a plan we aren't a part of yet. The child then leads her to a coal-eyed robot, convulsing with edible doubloons. Please let my psychopomp be so generous as to guide me to my eternity by the hand in a humming stroll, like this child navigating the legal sugars of a concession stand, and not along a path of throat-singing rocks lit by electric veins, echoing from a screen vortex I'm about to be tossed into, for savoring sins I was notified of, well in advance, in writing. I asked someone for water, who informs me of an apparatus over there that miracles it by pushing a lever with a paper cup. I hate being this vulnerable in public, that someone will see me for myself and ask, are you okay? The accurate answer is, it's complicated. Since there comes a time in a man's life when he reaches 30, something he didn't think possible something he didn't think possible at 20. Over drinking beer as bitter as gunpowder, you're supposed to be drinking. Duh, I'm that man. The real question is, if this is a nation of tradition, how are United's catchphrase? To which I'll slur, I drink and love and surrender and surrender at my own expense, which is about half true. When I finally finish the movie, it will have won several awards.
Woo! There we go.
I should actually say this too, if you remind me. When I was guest editor of Poem of the Week, Reyes is one of the authors I featured, and the thing was he didn't have a book of poetry out yet. It was still hadn't come out yet, but I loved his work, so I was like, I have to.
So he was the first that we ever did like that.
This next poet is a good friend of mine. When I was first semester of grad school, he came to my reading. He was moving to San Antonio. And afterwards, he walks up to me and he's like, "When's the book coming out?" And I was like, "Hi, thanks." And now, we're friends and talk about our parenting and all that kind of stuff, and all of our own trials and tribulations. It's wonderful to have someone like that in my life. And so, Joshua Roberts.
Yeah. All right.
Hey everybody, how you doing? I just want to thank everybody for your poem. I am moved, and I am a grade A weeper, so I'm ready to start.
There it is, yep.
I'm going to read one poem from my new book, which is called Eschatology in Crayon Wax. Due out from Texas Review Press.
All right.
I'm due out like the last couple of days. Come on!
Yeah!
It's a weird book. I would say it's something that's funny. I'm going to take this into theology. Sorry. So the poems are all sort of like Job. You have the main speaker who's, well, it's me, but sort of this Job figure. And finally God comes to answer. And so God responds. And so you get both poems. So I'm going to read both. So we'll hear from Job and then we'll hear from God. Eschatology in Crayon Wax. And it opens with an epigraph from a Ronald Reagan campaign commercial. It's morning again in America.
Ronald Reagan today.
October and the Llano Estacado's echoless sea of dry grass mingles with the state's highway dust. Falls rumors of Ebola and the firmament's half-asphyxiated petitions for rain. In plain view, I stop for gas, drop my last 20 for a paper and 15 on pump number 3. The attendant offers his requisite God bless and nod before I go out to fill. Behind him, the greasy rotisserie turns 100% Texas beef. Its hum vaguely tempting and just as cliched, predictable as the radio evangelist Sunday call-in show I've been listening and following since Amarillo. Putin's rise, the tribulation, RFID, and freedom's number of days. This far south, the prophecy's signal is as much white noise as it is likely, though the headline below the fold might beg to differ. Man sees mark of the beast, cuts off and microwaves hand. That's true. I remember children's church, coloring in the angel and his bowl of wrath, the beast with 7 heads, its 7 crowns, the pale horse and rider I filled in with green, and eschatology in crayon wax. Shaded by Gorbachev, the dollar's decline, duck and cover. And yet, those Sundays, too, were just another morning in America, rising then as it did 3 days ago over the aluminum belly of that off-the-grid airstream, its warped linoleum, and the body bled out and prepped to rise. The highlighted scripture opened beside him, something about saints and the trumpet's first fiery blare, the morning star gleaming in the still sky like Diablo steel. Its glint beneath the kitchenette's fluorescence just before the sawzall's teeth met wrist flesh. before the makeshift tourniquet and the bloody thumbprint on the microwave punch to max. Due east, the Caprock and the graded caliche rise and fall like an entire history of belief, buried beneath the panhandle's alluvial fans. Everything I've learned of Eden and the angel's fiery sword, Nineveh and the windows of heaven opened a Roman execution, and how all of it was reason enough to fear a port wine birthmark, the rapture, and ATMs. The pump clicks off and I head in. Hours from home, I spend what's left on a hot dog, a Coke, and pocket the loose change. Even now, my prayer's the same. Trust in the Lord and lean not on my own understanding of liberty, perestroika, the radical fall. Woo! Let's hear from God. So now God says,
Yes.
So God says, y'all don't believe in much. So much has fallen. Where's it at? All my names hold out their hands. Longing is something I can name, and something I can't remember. Finish? There is no other life, friend. Boring is everything. You've never asked me what is beyond finished knowing. Then, I once heard, did you now? No argument then. Ears to the ground. Footsteps. Is someone here to carry me home? Thank you.
You want another one? I gotta get up early. You gotta get up earlier. But get yourself another one.
So,
Go ahead.
we're in the home stretch.
Just put it on my tab. Put it on my tab.
This poet,
Which is under it.
I think of him
What? Which is under
like my little
Jake's.
brother.
John. Yeah. They were like, I don't remember you. Yeah. It's our credit, but okay, it's okay. Just say that everything is, we pretend like it's not. I know Jake had Jake, and so I constantly confuse their names for each other. Yeah.
I'm going to read a poem from the...
Yeah!
Yes, I have copies.
Alright, Matthew, what's up, bud?
The poem's called Lorca's Palm Leaves. I traded a handful of weed with a man begging on the street for a palm cross that looked like Lorca. Though a heart, not Jesus, was nailed to the cross, and a rose, not blood, centered the symbol of surrender. And yet still I thought of Jesus as he walked into Jerusalem, the palm leaves under his feet. And yet still I thought of Lorca crucified on the hillside, his heart made of leaves, tossed to the wind. And now, this man finding shade under a tree leaves my sins in exchange for something that will only amplify the hunger. Thank you.
Feel suddenly naked without the top hat. This is it, y'all. This is our last read of the night.
All right.
This is going to bring us home. Just want to say again, thank you very much for being here. Like I said at the beginning, before we were back in the hotel before this reading, was happening, and I took a nap because this was critical. Being able to stand up here before you and make hilarious jokes while I introduce readers. And that entire nap, I was having nightmares about things going wrong. And
I hate to admit this, and I'm trying to get past this, but it was mostly that people wouldn't be there and wouldn't have energy.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to get past that. I don't know how to figure out. I'm going to figure out one of these days. I mean, if I got one person in that audience, I'm going to kick some ass, right?
Yeah.
But what matters most to me is that y'all be here. Thank you again for being here. And it also matters very much when you do events like this to have really good people who work with you. And so Karen, would you please stand up? And it's really kind of a weird, I did not plan this, Joshua, but was it, 3-4 years ago, I put out on Facebook that I was going to AWP, I guess, whatever the hell that was, Philly, and I didn't have any offsite anything going on, and I just, I hadn't really planned on it and whatnot. And Josh and I have been friends for, we can't even remember how we met. We actually tried to reproduce this until we do it. And Josh, I don't remember exactly what you did, but you connected me with Jerry here, who was working with some other people to put a reading together. And so we put together sort of the first poem of the week / whatever, and whatever is doing whatever, right? Reading. And so here we are today. So a few days ago, maybe you started yesterday, right? Okay. Yesterday.
Feels like forever. It's been crazy.
And we're hanging out, we're having a good time, and Josh was like, I can't quite duplicate the way you did this. But he's like, so Andrew, your first book, I worked for weeks on that book. I edited the shit out of that. And then you published it and you did not thank me. And listen.
It's fair.
He wasn't throwing shade. Josh doesn't do that. He couldn't throw shade if he tried. You know? I was looking forward to a moment at this reading to just sort of give a little bit of a shout out to anybody out there who's ever worked hard for someone else and didn't get thanked for it. The reason I didn't thank him is I don't really like him very much. I just forgot. Man, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. It really means a lot. I just messed up. We've all been there. And so somehow we're going to transition to thanking. Man, I just want to thank this guy right here for being a really great partner. And sometimes you do more and I do more, and it goes back and forth, and we do what we do. And the bottom line is that, this is just a beautiful thing. Our last reader of the night, and then after that, we'll go to the hotel bar and we're going to fuck it up! Sherry Gerard Robleau!
But Josh is the person who got us together. And then when he's the one who gave me your number, he's like, oh, Andrew, talk to him. And then y'all make that reading happen. Okay. So this is all Josh's fault. Now that we got that off.
Thanks, man.
I'm going to read a poem. And as I said earlier about as a single father, and this is a lot more work has to do with this stuff, but as a Mexican man, I have custody of my daughter in the state of Texas. And that's a fucking rarity. It's a hard thing because I never wanted to have children. I joke with my students about it. I was like, oh, fuck, man, my daughter is the best fucking accident ever. But because I grew up really fucked up, right? My dad died when I was a toddler. My mom's an alcoholic. We're all kinds of all that messed up stuff, and so I'm a poet. And so, it was always hard. So to be a dad and to love what I love, and my daughter's is 15 now, but anyway, I'm kind of going on. But this poem is sort of about not knowing what it's like and parenting it and kind of figuring that out and learning from wherever. Anyway, it's called Before Our Eyes. Our dog gave a look into the night. Against the window, its reflection glared back, the silence of danger. Experts say animals see what we cannot. Their senses more attuned to the world than those of the evolved primates we are. Even some yard birds see the intricate ultraviolet patterns that distinguish the sexes of their species. But what do we know if we can't see it for ourselves? I once saw a dog unable to birth find a newborn stray, its eyes rounded and the paws arrested the pup. The sandpaper tongue stroked away its call. I thought of my daughter in utero, our dog sleeping at the crib foot to protect the coming baby. After she was born, I swaddled her, peach-fuzzed forehead nestled my mustache, tiny nails pinched my nipple. I thought about nursing my brother off the junk, rubbing his naked back while he puked on my floor. My calloused fingers like mother over child. I kept comparing myself to a mother. Then again, I've never known what a father does.
Assholes. All right.
There we go.
Every reader was fire.
Yeah, it was insane.
I'm stealing this model. 1 poem per reader.
It was literally absolutely insane. I am a bit appalled. It was insane. My boyfriend did well.
He could do well. His poem was second time tonight I've teared up.
Great job.
That was
Great job.
fucking incredible.
What a great reading, right?
Great reading.
Yeah.
Everyone was amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
It was really crazy. It's like we don't really
Moderately
know what's going to
terrifying.
happen when we put this shit together.
Oh, yeah.
We just like have a certain vibe where certain people are like, look, come and like don't fuck around.
Yeah.
And they do it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
You know? Does that think so?
Yeah, it sure as fuck is.
Hello. Yeah, no, I mean, no, it's really something. It's really something. We never know what's going to happen.
You're not lucky. You did it.
No, it was extremely well curated.
I mean, come on.
You kicked ass.
Well curated.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm like. I know how hard this is, and I salute you.
It was beautifully done. It was exquisite.
Is that the hotel bar this year?
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me jump on.
Yeah.
Why we didn't invite you?
Well, I got invited.
No, I'm glad you got invited.
Jerry was drunk as fuck, and so yeah, I got invited.
I'm glad you did. You guys are sober.
Oh, I have one of your feathers in my pocket. Here it is. Do you want it back? Thank you, Kyle.
He's awesome too.
So grateful.
Here or just like insane. Yeah. The whole thing. Yeah. So different. This made everything worth at these 2 meetings. And seeing all my St. Louis people and being able to drink all this St. Louis beer, I remember. I'm like, oh wow. Yeah. That homestead party. Yeah, good. It was fantastic. That guy wants to talk to you about mushrooms.
No shit.
Yeah. He said, like, he's like, do you know that woman that talked about mushrooms? I was like, yeah. Her name is Nikki. And she's a poet. You should talk to her. She's a really good poet. I can do it.
I'm gonna turn this off.
Yeah.